Hi, I'm Ben Glass. I'm a nationally recognized disability insurance attorney based out of Fairfax, Virginia. One of the questions we often get in a very common scenario is a claimant's doctor says that the patient cannot go to work and fills out the forms and writes the reports, but the insurance company says no. We believe that you can work and we're not going to pay your benefits. So what do you do? All right, so first let's look at the big picture. Doctors, well-meaning doctors, are not experts in disability insurance policies. So their definition of disability or disabled may vary widely and greatly from what's actually in your policy. So it's always good before you make a claim to get a hold of your policy and try to understand the definition of disability. And if you can't figure it out, or even if you can figure it out but you just want some advice, call somebody like me, an experienced long-term disability insurance attorney. Again, I work nationally. Number two is understand what the insurance company is doing. They're matching up the medical records against this. What is your occupation? What are the requirements, the physical and mental requirements of the occupation? And is what you have going on, either your injury or your illness, preventing you from substantially being able to perform what they call the occupational duties? All right, again, the physical and the cognitive things that have to take place in order for you to do the work that you were born to do. If you get denied, there's a multi-step process that an experienced disability insurance attorney will walk you through and represent you and help you on. But just in case you want to know what that process is, you want to try to do this on your own, which is not advised, here's the process. Number one, you have to read and understand the denial letter. Under federal regulations, that denial letter is supposed to tell you all of the reasons why they have denied the claim. However, denial letters are often vague. They refer to doctors without giving them names, about their medical reviewers, and they use words like sedentary and the Dictionary of Occupational Titles, and those denial letters can be confusing, but that becomes really, it helps create the playbook for the next step. Number two is you got to get the claim file, all right? Ask the insurance company for the entire claim file so you'll have all their notes and records, you'll have all their medical reports, and you got to dig deep. You got to make sure that everything you sent them is actually in the claim file. Oftentimes it's not. Insurance companies lose things. Is it deliberate? Is it just pure negligence? It's probably a little bit of both. Next, you want to do some background research on the doctors that they had review your claim. Again, although they don't list names in the denial letter, they will usually, almost always, list the names and have reports. These reports are written mainly by the insurance companies, I believe, and signed off by the doctors. So there's a little bit of nefarious work going on there. Anyway, but get the background on these doctors. Number three, go on Lexis or Wessel. Try to find some case that's like your case, describing a similar insurance policy with similar language, with a similar disease process or injury that you have with a similar occupation. Again, that's what lawyers like me do all day long, to try to find a similar case to yours to prove to the insurance company that, hey, before the court said someone like in your position should get their benefits. Someone with this policy language should get their benefits. This is what a good and experienced disability insurance attorney is going to do for you. Next, you're going to want to gather evidence. Again, we're going to go back to that denial letter. You're going to see, how do I fill in the gaps? What does the insurance company say is missing? Maybe it's objective evidence. Maybe it's some additional radiology screenings. Maybe your doctor hasn't ever said in the medical records that you cannot do your occupation, and that happens often because that's not a discussion that people have with their doctors. Hell, the doctor doesn't even know what your occupation is or what your occupational duties are. So these are gaps that a lawyer will look at in the denial letter and in the claim record and then fill in those gaps in the appeal. Typically, you'll have some period of time to do an appeal. Please, 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 an appeal is not just writing the insurance company, I appeal, I want you to look at this again. An appeal is 40 or 50 or 100 pages of medicine and law and regulations and your statement and your friend's statements and oftentimes pictures and sometimes videos. You get to put everything you want into an appeal, and that becomes really important because in most cases, if you ever have to go to court to prove your case, all the judge is going to look at is what's in the box, like what we call the administrative record. So putting together a very thorough appeal within the time limit of the federal regulations is important, because if you don't do that, then by and large, in most cases, you cannot go to court to try to get a judge to award you benefits. Look, I can't say this enough. Of course, I sound biased, but do not be afraid to speak to an experienced attorney. Do not try this on your own. There are plenty of cases where judges have said that a claimant who tries to walk through this very complicated process alone is facing a loaded deck because the insurance company does this all day long. They know how to seed that record with oftentimes fake reports by phony doctors who are sitting in offices, never seeing a patient, but merely stamping piles and piles of medical reports that have been authored by the insurance company to say, yeah, I'm a doctor, I have an MD after my name, and I think this person could sit for 6 hours a day and do some sort of work. That's what you're up against. That's what an experienced attorney will help you with. Go down below, click the thumbs up button, subscribe to this channel. If you have a question, you can leave it in the comments. Of course, everybody can see it there, or you can reach out to us. We're happy to talk to you. If you got a suggestion for a different video you haven't seen at our channel, let us know. We'll record that video and answer your questions. All right, until next time.